Thank you very much for joining me on Business. Good afternoon and welcome. Now, the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, of the Bank of Ghana has maintained the policy rate at 25% after it finished reviewing the health of the economy. Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Abdul Nashiru Issahaku, announced this at a press conference that concerns about economic growth suffering as well as inflation rates shooting up forced the Bank of Ghana to keep its key lending rate unchanged. The policy rate often influences the cost of borrowing in the country.
Persistent increases in food inflation, persistent increases in food inflation, and of course the fiscal outturn. There is therefore the need to return to the path of fiscal consolidation to complement the tight monetary policy stance to deliver on the medium-term inflation target. Although growth conditions remain modest, prospects are positive, underpinned by improved oil and gas production from the new oil fields, the original rebound in growth in private sector credit, the gradual rebound in growth in private sector credit, and improved sentiments and expectations. In the outlook, the risks to growth include policy uncertainties, especially in the global environment. In concluding, ladies and gentlemen, the committee viewed the risk to inflation and growth as balanced and decided to maintain the monetary policy rate at 25.5%. The committee will continue to monitor developments and take necessary action, if required, to achieve the medium-term inflation target.
Now, Ghana can now be classified as high debt distress country. This was after its public debt reached 120 billion cedis ending November. George Rafi looks at the implications of this development on the economy in the following report.
The high debt distress tag, according to the IMF, means that Ghana has gotten to a status that it may struggle to pay its debts on time because it has reached an alarming levels, a category that some may call highly indebted country. According to the IMF, a country gets into this status when its debt stock is more than 70% of the value of the economy. The development could impact negatively on Ghana's cost of borrowing because of the fear that it may struggle to pay these debts on time. The summary of the macroeconomic and financial data released by the Bank of Ghana shows that in just 1 month, that is from September 2016 to November 2016, the public debt went up by 8 billion Ghana cedis to 120 billion Ghana cedis. But for the senior minister designate, Yaw Mafo, who was instrumental in securing a debt relief for the country around 2001, he says it is not possible to get any debt forgiveness from our donors now.
We have a problem, and that problem is scary. As for the strategy, you need an inflow. We've got to make sure that we improve on our revenues as much as possible. We've got to make sure that we watch our expenditure, ensure that we have value for money in everything we do in this country from now going. It's so critical that anybody who does not go in for value for money in the big consumers, we cannot even afford to look after health and education.
Economist Professor Alex Asante tells Joy Business the development points to some real tough times ahead.
Puts the new government in the position where we all know the first quarter of every year is quite difficult for even households, individuals, and also for government. So the question is, how do we expect the government to manage this? And even what beats my mind is, even if the old government had been in power, I'm wondering how they would have solved this in this first quarter.
According to the Bank of Ghana's macroeconomic and financial data report released last week, revenue mobilized as a percentage of GDP appears to be declining, a development that could also impact the amount of money available for this government to spend in the first quarter of 2017.